Keanu Reeves stood by a shelf of snack bars, quietly sorting through options for a quick bite, not yet knowing that in just a few minutes he would have to defend the honor and dignity of a kind but vulnerable young man. This day seemed like it would be perfectly ordinary, yet it ended up teaching everyone in the store a real lesson. Nobody expected Keanu to step in on what seemed like a routine argument, and turn the entire supermarket's mood upside down. Before you dive into this moving story, let me invite you to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Such gestures of support give us the strength to share new stories that, we hope, will inspire you to do good. If you have any thoughts or emotions while watching, please share them in the comments. We value your opinion. A big, brightly lit supermarket stretched out in neat rows of shelves, appearing somewhat ordinary and monotonous. People strolled calmly around, some carefully reading labels, others hurrying to gather groceries for dinner. Right in the heart of this bustling space stood Keanu Reeves, barely noticeable to most visitors. He chose the simplest outfit, a black t-shirt and dark jeans, trying not to draw attention to himself. To everyone around, he looked like just another shopper, showing no sign of being a celebrity. Not far away, a young man named Benjamin, a teenager with Down syndrome, was working. He was stocking fresh cookies on the shelves, doing his best to appear confident because he'd been entrusted with a consultant's role for that section. For Benjamin, this was his first real job, which he secured after numerous interviews where people had looked at him with both doubt and pity. But he never gave up. He wanted to prove he was capable and ready to be helpful. Yet nobody suspected that in just a moment, a sharp female voice would ring out between the shelves, loud enough to break the calm of the aisle. This woman had come into the store with a shopping list in hand, stomping along as she tried in vain to find a specific brand of candy. Within a minute, she spotted Benjamin and decided to unload all her frustration on him, blaming him for the unprofessional state of the store. "Hey, kid," the woman called out, furious about her inability to find her favorite candy. "Is there seriously no one in this entire store who can tell me where they are?" Startled, Benjamin flinched and tried to respond with a polite smile. He knew that helping customers was his job, and he sincerely wanted to follow the instructions given by the manager. But the woman's aggressive tone scared him. I can help you," he began quietly, barely audible, trying to sound confident. The woman glared at Benjamin as though he were personally responsible for everything wrong in her life. Her expression darkened further when she realized the boy had Down syndrome. "Oh, so my goodness. Am I not going to get proper service?" She sighed with undisguised irritation, raising her voice so that people 2 aisles over could hear her. "Where's your manager? Can't they hire normal staff around here? Unbelievable. I came to shop, not to deal with emotional support." Hearing these harsh words, Keanu, who was only a couple of aisles away, grew alert and slowly headed over to the source of the commotion. He couldn't just ignore it, sensing that someone, clearly vulnerable, needed help. The woman kept ranting, her voice echoing through multiple rows of shelves. Benjamin stood in confusion, trying to respond, but the words got stuck in his throat. All he could manage was a gesture toward the correct aisle for the candy. But the woman refused to listen, cutting him off at every syllable and seeming to take satisfaction in her own hostility. "What could you possibly know?" she shouted, making a face of disgust. "Tell me, why do they hire people like you? You can't even speak clearly about these stupid candies. Why should I waste my time on your useless explanations?" She huffed loudly and rattled her shopping cart, as though she'd entirely lost her patience. At that moment, Keanu, having come close enough to hear her last remarks, felt a surge of indignation. Still, he did his best to maintain outward composure. Recalling how, as a child, he'd often faced snobbery and teasing because of his modest clothes and quiet demeanor, Keanu felt a strong urge to stand up for the young man. He knew he couldn't let such injustice go unchecked right in front of him. The woman kept casting thunder and lightning in every direction, too busy with her fury to notice another person quietly stepping up beside her. It seemed she was almost reveling in taking out her anger on Benjamin. Her voice shook with tension. How many times do I have to say it? Nobody here knows how to do their job. How dare you put an assistant in front of me who can't grasp the basics? Benjamin fell silent, feeling as though the ground beneath his feet might disappear. He stood there, clutching a box of cookies as if it were the only thing keeping him from collapsing. Suddenly, a calm but confident voice spoke up. Hello. Maybe I can help somehow. The woman spun around, startled to find Keanu there. Although his tone was gentle, there was an underlying strength in it, like he could extinguish the fiercest blaze with a single sentence. His eyes showed kindness, the quiet calm of someone used to resolving conflict peacefully. And who are you? She snapped, seemingly not recognizing him. Another so-called consultant who doesn't know what I need? Keanu offered a barely perceptible smile, maintaining his courtesy. I'm just a customer. I heard shouting and wanted to see if everything was all right. The woman looked him up and down, his simple black t-shirt, dark jeans, and concluded he was probably some random store clerk or just another lowly employee. Listen, the woman said, jabbing her finger at her shopping list, I'm looking for a specific brand of candy, and I can't get a single decent answer out of this assistant. Either he doesn't understand or he's ignoring me. Keanu glanced quickly at Benjamin, noticing the fear and embarrassment on the boy's face. Benjamin tried to speak, but the woman cut him off every time. Seeing the young man's distress, Keanu decided to step in. Maybe I can help you find those candies. Could I take a quick look at your list? He asked, offering to settle the matter in the simplest way possible. But the woman merely scoffed. Her voice grew even harsher. Do you even know what candy I'm talking about? Or are you all the same here? I don't want to waste my time if you're no better than him. Keanu stayed calm, giving Benjamin a reassuring look that seemed to say, it's okay, it's not your fault. He understood that the woman's rudeness likely stemmed from her own dissatisfaction rather than any genuine failure on Benjamin's part, but he also knew tolerating such behavior was wrong. Suddenly, as if to finalize her humiliation of Benjamin, she turned toward him and practically shouted. Maybe you're trying to do something, but I'd rather you move aside. Stop getting in the way of normal people. The woman's words echoed in Keanu's mind, awakening memories of times he'd been ridiculed before he found fame. He recalled working in a small diner and constantly receiving rude comments from impatient customers. Only his perseverance and the support of a few friends allowed him to endure such treatment without becoming bitter. But now, he couldn't stand by while someone else was treated so harshly. He turned firmly to the woman. I think you're being unfair to this young man. He's trying to help, maybe you could give him a chance to explain where your candies are. And by the way, there's nothing abnormal here. She gave a sarcastic smile. Oh, don't start lecturing me. If he wanted to help, he should learn to speak clearly and think faster. Her words were aimed squarely at Benjamin's feelings, as if she wanted to hurt him on purpose. Benjamin felt every past instance of bullying at school rush back, memories of being mocked for being slow. Inside, he felt a knot of pain, but he tried hard not to cry. Summoning his courage, Benjamin finally managed to speak, though his voice trembled. Excuse me, I was just trying to show, the candy might be, on the other side of the sweets aisle. But the woman cut him off again. Be quiet. I didn't ask you to think out loud. I need a clear answer. Some of the nearby shoppers started whispering among themselves, a few people even took out their phones to record the scene. The tension was rising, and it was clear this was no harmless spat, it was outright harassment of someone simply doing his job. Seeing how hard it was for Benjamin to hold back his emotions, Keanu stepped forward and raised his voice so everyone could hear. You have no right to treat him like this. He's a consultant doing his best to help you. But your tone, you realize how offensive it is, don't you? The woman snorted, lifting her chin. Oh really? And just who do you think you are, talking to me like that? Another person who thinks he's some kind of hero? A short distance away, someone recognized Keanu Reeves, and hushed exclamations were heard, it can't be. But the woman, apparently not a moviegoer, had no idea who she was confronting. Look, Keanu said firmly, his voice calm but unwavering, your aggression isn't helping you find those candies. It's only humiliating someone who's trying to assist. If, for any reason, he can't give you an instant reply, that's still no excuse for insults. The woman turned abruptly, ready to lash out at Keanu. Why are you telling me what to do? You think you're so brave in your black t-shirt? You have no idea how sick I am of incompetent service. If you're so smart, go find me those candies yourself. Keanu cast a quick glance at the shelves. It took him mere seconds to spot the section where a bright sign matched the brand name on the woman's list. He was about to politely point her toward the correct shelf when another shopper, who had just recognized the modest stranger, spoke up. Excuse me, do you even realize who you're talking to? That's Keanu Reeves. A wave of surprise swept through the store. Those nearby began whispering, no way. Is it really him? How did I not recognize him? The woman blinked, unsure if this was a prank. But seeing how the other shoppers looked at Keanu with admiration, she finally understood he was indeed someone famous. This realization brought her no comfort, in fact, it made her expression shift from surprise to embarrassment, and then to sheer confusion. The customers nearby started talking excitedly, some openly voicing their astonishment. It's really him. I love his movies. I never thought I'd see Keanu in an ordinary supermarket. The woman darted her gaze from Keanu to Benjamin and back, then mumbled in a softer tone, trying to save face. Maybe I overreacted. Yet just a moment ago, she'd been shouting loud enough to be heard across the entire store. Now, feeling awkward, she avoided meeting Keanu's eyes. Her once self-assured superiority seemed to vanish. Keanu gave a kind smile and stepped back, making sure not to tower over her aggressively. He knew it wouldn't help to humiliate her in response. Far better to show humanity and lead by example. It's okay. What matters is understanding that you're talking to a person with feelings. I can show you where the candy is, and Benjamin can, too, if you give him a chance to speak up. Realizing how embarrassing this was in front of onlookers, and in front of a world-famous celebrity. The woman's confidence wavered. She grew flushed with shame. But there was also a sense of poetic justice in the air. Many had silently endured her yelling until now, and here she was, faced with the spotlight of everyone's attention, and a famous actor, questioning her behavior. Seeing the woman's clear discomfort, Benjamin managed a shy smile and spoke quietly. If you'd like, I can show you where the candy is. It's not far, just around the corner near the chocolate display. The woman forced out something resembling an apology and then, looking at Keanu, admitted. I guess, I was too harsh. Sorry, kid. And I'm sorry to you, too. Keanu offered an encouraging nod. We all get stressed at times. We just need to remember we're dealing with human beings, each with their own challenges. A kind word and a little patience can make a huge difference. The onlookers broke into applause, and someone patted Benjamin on the shoulder. Good job, man, keep it up. Benjamin smiled through tears, feeling that this moment was more than just the end of a shift. He felt seen and protected. For him, it was a new step towards self-confidence. The woman, realizing how she had humiliated herself in front of a crowd, also realized something bigger, that judging someone without understanding their capabilities and struggles is deeply unfair. Shame and confusion gave way to quiet remorse. Most importantly, she saw how Keanu, a world-famous celebrity, acted as a humble person who valued kindness above all else. As people dispersed, one of the store employees thanked Keanu for not staying on the sidelines. Keanu simply shrugged, preferring to think that he had done nothing extraordinary, only what any decent person would do. Epilogue and moral. A few days later, videos of this incident spread across social media. Millions of viewers praised Keanu's actions and were glad Benjamin continued to work in the store. Messages of support flooded in for the boy, and some offered charitable help to organizations that assist people with Down syndrome. This story gained a lot of attention, but the real lesson wasn't about the actor's fame. It was about how a small act of kindness can change someone's life. The incident showed that even a simple gesture, standing up for someone who's being mistreated, showing compassion and patience, can spark a wave of positive change. Remember, we never truly know what difficulties another person faces. Sometimes just one kind word or short phrase of support can restore someone's faith in themselves. In the end, these small acts of goodness really do make the world a better place, and it's most evident when someone steps up to protect those who need it most. Thank you for staying with us until the end of this story. May it remind us all that humanity and compassion don't need loud announcements, they live in our hearts and are ready to show themselves the moment we let them.